In the unforgiving African savanna, the struggle for survival unfolds every single day, ruthless and without second chances. This is the proving ground of the continent's boldest predators, where strength, speed, and instinct determine who endures and who falls behind. Across sun-scorched grasslands and dust-filled horizons, every breath is a gamble. Every heartbeat carries consequence. A moment of hesitation can be fatal. There is no room for mistakes here, and mercy has no place in the rules of the wild. In this untamed world, survival is not a given. It is earned through resilience, courage, and constant adaptation. The African savanna reveals nature in its rawest form, where every creature must push itself to the edge simply to continue existing. What do you think? Does sheer power always decide survival? Or can intelligence and strategy alter fate, even in a land this harsh and relentless? An ancient impulse surges through the veins of millions of creatures. The Serengeti becomes the sacred stage for the greatest migration on Earth. Vast clouds of dust rise like signals of departure, announcing an endless tide of life on the move. The wildebeest, tireless wanderer, embodies the spirit of this epic journey. More than 1 million lives advance together, bound by a collective force with no borders. Within this living ocean, each animal tries to vanish into the crowd, seeking shelter in numbers and hoping to escape the unseen hand of fate. Yet disorder itself becomes a golden invitation for watchful predators. The male lion can no longer restrain himself, nearly 250 kilograms of muscle built for direct, violent confrontation. He is the symbol of raw power, but his blazing mane betrays him, denying the full mastery of stealth. It is the unavoidable price of being a territorial guardian. Pride enters the equation, heavy and explosive. Lacking the agility of the true hunters, the lionesses he compensates with bones and muscles that are roughly 30% denser. A single lapse is enough for the abyss to open. The feast of the migration officially begins, adding another chapter to the endless saga of life on the savannah. These herbivores, gentle in appearance, are not strangers to violence among their own kind. Before the journey even starts, the mating season ignites. Testosterone floods their bodies, turning them into determined rivals. Their clashes draw yet another kind of danger. The sharp crack of colliding horns echoes like an ancient ritual, clouding judgment and eroding vigilance. It is a mistake that comes at a terrible cost. The lioness's patience finally runs out. Faced with an abundance of flesh, the perfect reward to sustain her pride, she strikes with ruthless precision. She exploits blind spots and the exhaustion left behind by rival males locked in combat. One final calculated attack, cold, efficient. The contender who fought for the right to reproduce becomes nourishment for an entire family, a stark reminder that on the African plains, ambition and survival often end the same way. The savannah falls into a heavy silence, stunned by the endless cycle of life. Alongside the wildebeest, zebras add a striking contrast to this vast natural symphony. Their black and white stripes ripple as they move, creating a hypnotic effect that confuses the eyes of stealthy predators. The herd blends into a single, shifting illusion, erasing the boundaries between individuals. Yet one misstep, one break in rhythm, is enough for that protective pattern to shatter in an instant. Beneath the filtered light of scattered trees, an elegant shadow glides through the golden tones of the plains. Master of calculation and patience, the leopard measures every second before committing to a final strike. This is not one of the continent's famous river crossings, but a simple meeting point where all creatures must drink and all must eat. Today, however, those claws meet an invisible force, the unbreakable instinct of a mother. The silent hunter hesitates, lowers its body, and retreats before the armor forged by devotion. But the savannah offers no sanctuary, and fortune does not favor every attempt. Sometimes, it simply turns away from the hunter. Driven once more by hunger, the sleek shadow shifts its focus, locking onto another target. The impact feels inevitable. This time, nature tilts toward the starving predator. The desperate call of the young fades into the air, swallowed by the indifferent rhythm of the wild. To pause is to stare into oblivion. Life in a herd brings protection, but it also carries a cruel truth, one written in red dust and silent suffering, where survival always demands a price. Meanwhile, across the short grass, the slim outlines of Thompson's gazelles quietly graze. They are creatures of light and wind, capable of reaching speeds close to 80 kilometers per hour. When people speak of the Great Migration, these small antelopes are often overlooked, but never by the cheetah. Under the harsh midday sun, when heat shimmers in the air and most predators retreat into the shade. This is when the cheetah finds its perfect moment. It must move unseen, avoiding the temperamental lion made restless by the heat, and the spotted hyena, ruler of the night. The cheetah's dark tear lines beneath its eyes are a key advantage, acting like natural filters that reduce glare and preserve sharp vision under the blazing sun of the dry season. Yet the true source of its speed lies deeper within its spine. Flexible like a perfectly tuned spring, it compresses and releases with flawless timing, turning each stride into a near weightless glide across the ground. A streamlined skull and explosive fast-twitch muscles in the hind legs complete the design. Every curve of the cheetah's body is built for motion, refined for legendary pursuits beneath open skies. Now its focused gaze locks onto a limping gazelle. The cheetah knows its limits well. It cannot sustain top speed for long. The distance must close to less than 50 meters before it explodes forward, accelerating to nearly 100 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds, racing against time and biology before lactic acid overwhelms its muscles. The hunt becomes a contest of physics and intelligence. Success is as fragile as morning mist. The cheetah's heart pounds like a war drum, lungs burning as breath tears through flared nostrils. Above, vultures begin to circle in silence, anticipating yet another encounter between hunters and scavengers on the plains. But hunger alone does not drive the cheetah to such risk. Hidden nearby are her cubs, marked by a remarkable natural defense, a ridge of pale, bristled fur running along their backs. It resembles the coat of the honey badger, a fearless animal few predators dare to challenge. This clever disguise helps protect them during their most vulnerable months. Still, camouflage cannot defeat starvation. Today's lesson marks a beginning. Speed is a weapon, but strategy is what keeps a family alive. The cubs begin to grasp the gift they were born with. When the chase ignites, muscle and motion fuse into pure force. The end comes swiftly and without sound. Without relying on sharp fangs, the mother tightens her grip around the prey's throat until life fades. The cubs, not yet 2 months old, have jaws still soft and untrained, but instinct already burns within them. They clumsily explore the fallen prize as their mother guides them through the first steps of survival. It is an ancient ritual, one that sparks the rise of future hunters of the savannah. Far across the scorching plains, another resolve begins to take shape. Under normal conditions, cheetahs keep their distance from giants. One mistake can mean death. But when brothers form an alliance, instinct shifts from escape to precision teamwork. Against a towering opponent, speed is only the opening chapter. Courage becomes the deciding factor. A wildebeest weighs nearly 5 times more, armed with spear-like horns capable of ending a hunt in seconds. Three golden figures move as one, weaving and striking with synchronized force. Their coordination overwhelms the massive herbivore, but even together, they know time is short. They must feed quickly before hunger draws another predator to claim its share of the prize. On this vast savanna lives a creature that merges the cheetah's speed with the raw presence of a wildebeest, the ostrich. Long ago, it abandoned the skies, transforming its destiny by turning its legs into powerful engines that slice through waves of golden dust. Reaching nearly 3 meters in height and weighing around 150 kilograms, it stands like a living watchtower in the dry, endless plains. Its strong limbs allow it to sprint at speeds close to 70 kilometers per hour, while its kicks can deliver immense force, capable of inflicting serious damage. With a body mass far greater than that of a cheetah, the ostrich is a formidable opponent. Yet when 3 cheetahs coordinate their movements, the balance can begin to shift. Through cooperation and precise timing, they adapt their strategy, using unity to offset their individual vulnerability and challenge even such a powerful adversary. In a fleeting moment of hesitation, the female ostrich senses the danger. Surrounded from 3 sides, she becomes the quiet center of an unfolding threat. The male manages to break away unharmed and does not look back. He understands, without doubt, the responsibility entrusted to him in that decisive instant. Now alone, the male ostrich leads the group of chicks, carrying the future of his species on his shoulders. Beneath the relentless sun of the arid plains, the father guides his young toward the places where life still flourishes with unstoppable force. The landscape shifts into a maze of riverine forests where golden light breaks beneath the canopy, scattering uneven patterns of shadow and glow. This is the realm of stealth and ambush. Here, a young leopard sharpens its senses, learning to shape fate with every muscle and breath. Its target is not a massive herbivore heavy with meat. A single leap of 3 meters is enough to bring down a bird or a small animal. The reason is simple. A leopard needs only 2 to 4 kilograms of food each day. Every hunt must be efficient, low risk, and precise. Survival favors certainty, not excess. That is why the leopard chooses quiet strongholds, far from noise and chaos. Its rosette-patterned coat allows it to melt seamlessly into fractured light and shadow. Dusk creates the perfect stage for unseen attacks along the riverbanks. The leopard, an unseen ruler, surveys its velvet-wrapped territory with cold patience. An unwary impala pauses beneath the roots of a marula tree, unaware that destiny is watching from above. Then, like an unstoppable force, the leopard drops with explosive speed onto its solitary target. Yet the hunt does not end there. As a solitary predator, the leopard cannot afford confrontation. With remarkable muscular strength, it drags prey heavier than itself high into the trees, beyond the reach of rivals. This solitary life is no accident. Hunting alone preserves absolute silence, reducing the risk of alerting prey or attracting competitors. But isolation carries its own dangers, especially when the leopard strays from the safety of dense cover. The warthog's curved tusks are formidable defenses, and when threatened, it can sprint at nearly 48 kilometers per hour. The leopard cannot rush this encounter. Flexible shoulders and padded paws erase every sound as it advances. Still, the moment vigilance slips, the challenge becomes far greater than a distracted impala. Hunger tightens its grip, forcing the leopard to commit with full power. The sudden burst of action, however, draws the very rival it hoped to avoid. In the confusion between predators, the warthog seizes its chance. The outcome is harsh and unforgiving. No one truly wins. The leopard loses its prize. A spotted hyena arrives at the worst possible moment. The survivor escapes, carrying with it a scar etched by fate. The spotted hyena is nothing if not cunning. Though often labeled a thief, loss fuels its persistence. Its response is intimidation, aimed at those it perceives as weaker. Faced with jaws capable of crushing bone, a mother leopard offers a silent warning. On open ground, the hyena reigns among scavengers, but its heavy build binds it to the earth it patrols, while the leopard fades once more into the trees. Only one animal truly claims the crown of the African wilderness, the lion, a symbol of raw authority. Its reign begins from the very first fragile breaths of life. Yet the lion is never alone. It lives within a pride, a powerful social unit where survival depends on unity. Males with blazing manes stand as living fortresses, their roars carrying for kilometers across the plains as a declaration of dominance. Still, the true backbone of the kingdom lies with the queens, the lioness's silent pillars who sustain the entire lineage. As dawn breaks, the savannah awakens and sets the stage for a confrontation between royalty and the giants of the plains. From the fading shadows emerges the majestic kudu, its spiral horns twisting skyward like living sculptures. The lionesses move with flawless coordination, both in daily life and in the hunt, executing strategies refined by generations. Shrubs and uneven ground become invisible cover. When the decisive moment arrives, the strongest surges forward through the mist. Targeting the vulnerable neck. A single, powerful bite is enough. The reward feeds the entire pride, earned through the strength and responsibility of the dominant females. Far to the south, the ancient Namib Desert reveals itself a land shaped since the dawn of time. Unlike the savanna, this realm is forged of towering red dunes that rise like solitary giants. The ground becomes a blazing furnace, with temperatures soaring to extreme levels. Water is scarce, and only the most resilient forms of life can endure this ocean of burning sand. In this harsh environment, the oryx stands as a biological marvel. Its survival depends on a specialized network of blood vessels that cools the blood before it reaches the brain. Allowing it to withstand heat that would overwhelm most animals. But the oryx is no passive survivor. During mating season, males clash in fierce duels, wielding long, straight horns like spears. They are warriors shaped by heat, sand, and scarcity. Against all expectations, this unforgiving desert is also home to lions. Desert-adapted and resilient. They live in groups much like their savanna relatives, and their cubs learn early how to hunt. Yet the desert offers no easy prey. The oryx understands its own strength. As long as it holds its ground, it can challenge even the most formidable hunters. A single moment of inexperience is enough to turn the balance. even rulers of the land must sometimes face defeat, as nature honors not only power, but endurance and resolve. Hunger, however, shows no mercy. When the opportunity arises, lions are forced to risk everything, even against a rival as massive and dangerous as the African buffalo. Known for its aggression and resilience, the buffalo is armored with thick skin and driven by an unforgiving will. Under the direction of the leading lioness, the hunt unfolds with calculated precision. For the pride, it is a rare chance. For the buffalo, the beginning of a deadly trial. The battle ignites when unity and fury awaken an ancient fighting spirit. One solid blow from those horns could seal a lion's fate in an instant. To survive, even apex predators must sometimes do what they despise most: retreat and wait. Patience becomes a weapon, strategy a necessity. Under the cover of darkness, the struggle ends only when the giant's strength finally fades beneath the relentless pressure of the pride. On the savannah, caution is not a choice. It is the cost of staying alive. So, what do you think is the most powerful tool for survival in the African wilderness? Speed, strength, or intelligence? Share your thoughts in the comments. The savannah shows no memory of yesterday's feast. With the first light of dawn, new monumental figures rise from the plains like living towers. A young giraffe begins her journey under the unwavering protection of her mother. What looks like playful sparring today is, in truth, essential training for the battles of adulthood that lie ahead. With a flexible tongue stretching nearly half a meter, the giraffe plucks leaves hidden among sharp thorns, feeding as if reaching toward the sky itself. The struggle for food is a silent chemical war. Acacia trees release bitter tannins as a defense, yet the giraffe's saliva neutralizes them with remarkable efficiency. Even swarmed by ants that inhabit the thorns, she persists, grazing for up to 20 hours a day. Every biological advantage comes at a price. To drive blood up a neck rising more than 5 meters above the ground, the giraffe relies on a heart weighing over 11 kilograms. It maintains the highest blood pressure of any land mammal, beating at extraordinary rates to defy gravity. When the animal lowers its head to drink, the risk is immense, but a system of one-way valves in the neck veins closes instantly, protecting the brain from dangerous pressure surges. To challenge such giants, lions employ a strategy of rotating pursuit, taking turns to exhaust their prey. Despite the giraffe's long strides and impressive stamina, danger grows when it becomes surrounded. Cornered, the towering herbivore is forced to rely on its final line of defense. This time, fortune does not favor the lion. The giraffe survives, reminding the savannah that size paired with precision can turn the tide. Remember the young giraffes playing hours earlier. Those harmless games will one day evolve into brutal contests of adulthood. No challenger accepts defeat without resistance. The decisive strike is not aimed at the neck, but delivered as a devastating kick to the abdomen, powerful enough to end any challenge in an instant. The loser carries wounds that never fully heal, driven from the territory into a harsh solitude. On the savannah, defeat means exile, with no return promised. One day, the fallen will fade into a forgotten corner of the land, departing in silence, burdened by the weight of loss in a world that never pauses for the weak. The Cape porcupine, Hystrix africae australis, is the largest rodent in Africa. It can weigh between 10 and 30 kilograms and reach lengths of 60 to 80 centimeters. Its primary defense is one of evolution's finest achievements, an unmatched suit of spines that sets it apart among the mammals of the savanna. Its body is covered with thousands of stiff quills, ranging from 20 to over 35 centimeters long, layered from the back of the neck, down the spine, and across the tail. The longest quills along the back are hollow, making them surprisingly lightweight, yet remarkably strong, an ideal balance between protection and mobility. When threatened, the porcupine raises its entire arsenal. The quills clash together, producing a sharp, rattling sound that serves as a clear warning to any would-be attacker. A creature of the night, it feeds mainly on roots, tubers, fallen fruit, and tree bark. It will even gnaw on bones to obtain calcium, a vital mineral that further strengthens its spines. There are many documented cases of lions and leopards dying days later from infections caused by quills lodged deep in their bodies. After the sharp confrontation, the savanna returns to its quiet rhythm. In the natural world, survival is not ruled by brute strength alone, but by a complex balance of inherited instinct, rapid reflexes, and hard-earned experience. As silence settles over the African savanna, the harsh struggles for survival leave marks that cannot be erased. Dust clings to the ground, the air still heavy with the echoes of the hunt. This is the battlefield of the boldest predators, a place where there are no lasting champions, only those who endure for a little longer. In this unforgiving land, every breath may be the final one. Every heartbeat decides whether life continues or fades into nothingness. The savannah does not judge, it does not show mercy, and it does not wait. It simply demands strength, intelligence, and an unbreakable will to stand for one more day. And so, another chapter of this relentless world comes to an end, where life exists on the edge of death. A stark reminder that in the wild heart of Africa, simply remaining alive is already a triumph.